He's slow moving. He's humble in his posture. He's meek and mild. Not aggressive enough. Not coordinated physically in the presence. Has nothing in the body presence that would instigate respect. Now he's going to have to do it the hard way. If the body doesn't have presence, poise, and power in its presentment out there socially, then the social performer will be a victim. There's nothing you can do about it. He'll be spotted. He'll be targeted. He's slow moving. He's apathetic. He's lethargic. He has no coordination in his movements. He doesn't pose a threat physically. What do you think's going to happen? He is a walking, talking, physical invitation to bullying, and bullying takes many forms. This is the topic we're talking about. Bullying. It takes many forms. And if a man looks like me, I'm only 5'2½". The thing that saves me, of course, is that I'm an 80-year-old man. I'm infirm. I'm crippled. Got a big moon face and a paunch. Bad paunch, a big fat belly. So I know what it is, exactly what it is to be a victim out there. I know exactly what the bullying process consists of. And only the victim, in any case, can put a stop to it. There's no good Samaritan. There's nobody that can go in and rescue the victim from the bully. He's not going to be around 24/7. That bully's going to catch him when nobody's around. There's no potential good Samaritan around to protect the victim. There's only one recourse. He's got to train very, very, very hard. He's got to develop punching power, grabbing power, pulling power without any excuse. And he's got to do a multiple disciplined approach. Bodybuilding, but then other activities that give his body alertness, physical presence, speed, and aggressiveness. If I had to put my finger on what's the most important thing out there to protect yourself, aggressiveness, predatorial skills, alertness to what's around you, and the ability to, by force of habit and by training till it's a rote, till it's a way of life, react instantly. Hesitation, thinking about it at the time, loses moments, precious moments that mean the difference between getting hurt, surviving, asserting yourself effectively, physically and verbally, in social presence. But there's another thing too. It's called security. It's more important than anything else. The security to know that you can physically give a good account of yourself out there with anybody. I don't care how big they are. And that's why you take a short man like me. You try to hide behind what the shortness connotates. Smallness, weakness, and so on and so forth. Lack of presence and so on and so forth. Connotates a lot of bad things. And it also hurts the short, small man badly when he should try and approach a woman. The competition's overwhelming. Even at any level. And then the question becomes, how does a man live with himself? Because all of this comes back and piles on. And if it piles on too much, the victim will never come out from under all of that accumulation of humiliation, of insult, and so on and so forth. It then becomes for him a way of life, and he goes out there promoting that kind of thing, calling out to his bully. And of course, what I'm doing right now in this presentation, I'm outlining for you the essence of bullying, in my opinion, and demonstrating for you why only the victim can extricate himself from his victimhood. Nobody can do it. You can't legislate it in. Equity is only opportunity. I don't like to use fairness. That word doesn't exist. But a chance, a shot at it. That's all it does. I don't know what the radical right's talking about. I don't know what a Dr. Phil McGraw is talking about, or Jordan Peterson's talking about. Equity has nothing to do with instigating equality of outcome. You can't do that. How foolish can these pros be? How do you build in an equality of outcome from the outside? It's competitive. The cream only rises to the top if the cream knows how to fight its way to the top through all the opposition. That takes experience. That takes developing the will from a practical, street smart point of view. It has nothing to do with any of the strategies, any of the advice, or the presentation of a Tony Robbins. Nothing to do with it at all, in my experience. The whole thing is, how does the victim step by step de-victimize? How do you stop being a victim is the real problem out there. What are the steps? You have to do an assessment. Again, I reiterate, you stand in front of the mirror, you take all your damn clothes off, turn on your cell phone camera, you got a camera right in that cell phone, and film yourself from every angle. Throw punches, move around, get an idea of how you move, visual idea of how you're punching, how you're moving, how you're covering, and then be professionally evaluated. No one goes anywhere, and I want you to listen very closely to me, without knowing who in the hell he is. Without exposing himself and knowing who in the hell he is from a professional evaluation and advice. Who are you getting the advice from? Who is observing you and critically evaluating what you got? Before you can come to me, before you can talk to me about anything, you better be in tremendous shape to begin with. You better bring me something visually and particularly physically to work with right in front of me. I can't work with a blob of fat standing in front of me, who's a self-reinforcing, self-saboteur, creating his own bully and promoting his own victimhood and being in his element about it, because now he's a winner at a losing game. At least he knows the outcome he's going to get when he goes out there and presents with that posture, that humble attitude, genuflecting. He's going to get his bully. The bullies are everywhere. Everybody wants a laugh at the other man's expense. Everybody has within themselves at some level the ability to mock, ridicule, humiliate, and intimidate. That's part of human nature. No matter what Peterson or the good Dr. Phil, or even Tony Robbins tell you, Tony Robbins is a major predator physically. It's a predatorial approach he uses with those big banana hands reaching into your space. And the problem with these fellas is once they get the momentum, you'll never get it back. They talk and they'll filibuster and you never get a chance to talk unless you break their momentum. But to break the momentum of Phil's proud of his height. He's 6'4", and he's supposed to be a real ass kicker. The same thing as Big Bill O'Reilly. You've got to break their momentum. You've got to push them back and make them fear exposure. You have to have the threat of the ability to expose these clowns, or they'll walk all over you. And it begins again with physical conditioning. You don't get away from that. I'm talking about punching power. I'm talking about pushing power. I'm talking about grabbing power. I'm talking about lifting power. But mostly I'm talking, none of this will work if you don't have predatorial aggression within yourself. That begins first. That's called survival. That's called dog down competitive skills. This comes first. Everything else is a footnote to that, in my opinion. Respect. You don't ask for any respect. You have to be in condition in your mind and body to take the respect. I'm asking for your respect, but if you don't give it to me, I'll take it. Your body presence has to signal that. Now you really got your work cut out for you. There's no pithy sayings. There's no phony encouragements. You got to grab the bull by the horns. Only the individual victim can do that, to de-victimize. So any talk of equality of outcome, trying to legislate equality of outcome, is bullshit. There's so many other factors involved, and it makes someone who is a radical right, traditional value guy, and coming from God on high, his orders and his righteousness, a bunch of crap. The big lie, the way I see it.